So your manuscript got rejected, and then it got rejected again and again and again. And you ask yourself, should I just give up? And the answer to that question is what we will be discussing in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Leigh Hall from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get new notifications as I put out new videos every week. So today we have a viewer question, and it basically goes like this. Is it ever okay to let go of a manuscript? When do you move on with your work? And the idea here is, should we ever be letting go of a manuscript, right? And this is when academic writing in grad school gets really realistic. And it's honestly, this is something that can happen to you at any point in your career. It's really not something that's just limited to academic writing in grad school. So the first thing, and I hope that at this point we're all comfortable with this idea, is that rejections happen. Okay, rejections happen to high quality work. Okay, it's a part of academic writing in general. Okay, not just academic writing in grad school. So if you have a paper, right, and you've sent it out to a journal, let's say you sent it out to a top tier journal and it got rejected, and so you sent it out to another top tier journal. And it got rejected, right? And you kept sending it out to all the top tier journals that you knew should be appropriate for this manuscript, and it kept getting rejected. So at some point, right, you've got to ask yourself a couple of things. First of all, should this manuscript actually maybe go to a still high quality, but maybe a second tier journal, okay? So that's something, right, to take into consideration. Now, if your manuscript is going to second tier journals already and it's getting rejected, I don't know that you want to drop it down to a third tier journal. So at that point, I'm going to say that this next piece of advice is something that you're going to want to consider, which is, should it be rewritten before it gets sent back out? So, with any rejection from any journal, you should be getting feedback from reviewers. And it might be helpful if you've gotten multiple rejections to look across that feedback and see if there are some common themes that reviewers are having. So in general, when you get a piece rejected, when you get feedback, I do recommend looking it over, but I don't recommend overhauling your manuscript before you send it back out again based on that feedback. Because when you send it to new reviewers, what you're going to find is they're going to usually have a completely different set of ideas about what needs to be changed. That's just the way that it is. But if you've gotten a couple, 2 or 3 rejections, I would look across those and think about, is there something that keeps popping up that if I took the time to rewrite it, it might actually prevent my manuscript from getting rejected, at the next place that I send it, right? So think about that, okay? Because that's a time when I think it could be worth your while to spend some time doing some revisions. Also, show the feedback, right, to a trusted mentor, to a trusted colleague who can read over it and maybe give you some honest feedback and give you some advice about how you should think about things based on the reasons why your paper's getting rejected. Now, whether or not you should let it go is a personal decision. There's no right or wrong answer here. What I think you need to ask yourself is, first of all, have you reasonably exhausted all the good outlets? I don't think that you want to just at some point drop it down to a lower tier journal, like a super low, not a second tier, but like a really low quality journal, just for the sake of getting it published. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that. I would actually let it go before I would do that. So you have to think about, what do you gain by letting it go? And there are a number of things that any of us could gain by letting it go, right? You let go the stress of dealing with this, right? You let go the hassle, okay? Maybe it frees you up mentally and emotionally to be able to move on to do the next thing that you need to do, okay? So you have to think about, what do I gain? And then you think about, what do you lose? Okay, obviously you can say, I lose a publication, but it's getting rejected. So did you really lose a publication, right? Maybe if you are thinking, hey, I can keep at it, maybe I'll find it a home. If that's worth it to you to find it a home in a decent journal, then by all means keep doing it, okay? But if at some point it's become just not worth it to you, it's too much of a hassle, it's too much stress emotionally, mentally, then maybe consider letting it go. This isn't obviously something that you want to do all the time, but it is something that could come up and happen, once or twice, in your career. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad academic. It doesn't make you a bad writer. It's just something that happens. So if you're going to let it go, then truly let it go. Don't judge yourself. Don't hold on to it. Okay. And then finally, I would recommend seeking external advice from someone with a bigger perspective, right? So before you decide, should I let it go or not, right? Think it through and then ask somebody that's, got, more experience, that you trust, that you have a good relationship with. Hey, this is my situation. Can you take a look at the feedback that I'm getting? I'm trying to decide if I should continue on with this or not, and have a meeting with them, right? And take that information to heart. You don't have to do what they say, but just take it to heart. And they may have some suggestions for you for places to send it to that are good that you just weren't aware of, okay? And that could be, worth your time sending it as is or making some revision and then sending it to a different place as well. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all of my videos. And while you're at it, let me know in the comments how you deal with multiple rejections and any questions you have about how to move forward with your academic journey.